I think too often people consider allyship as a noun. They say like, well, we do. We say, I am an ally to this community. For me, that in itself is kind of an empty statement. What's more important to me when thinking about allyship is what does that look like? What are you doing to be an ally?
It's not assuming that you know. It's not saying, well, yeah, I have a gay friend, so. It's not asking me to help you every time you think a girl's hitting on you. Being an ally is asking me or having conversations with me about, you know, like I said, how does this affect you? Or how do you feel here? Or, you know, that person was staring at you in the bathroom, like, are you okay?
Support me, not speak for me, not speak over me, not explain to other straight people or other like cis people or whatever what it means to be queer, but to amplify our voices, to help us teach people.
If you're an ally and no one can read you as a part of that other community that you're trying so hard to protect, it's easy to walk away from that and not feel those things, where I can't take off my queerness. People read me as queer, and I don't get a break from that. And I feel like allies' jobs are also to not take a break.
When you're an ally, it's not about you, and that's hard. That can be really, really hard for people to grasp. And it's a process. Being an ally isn't something that you're like, oh, I'm gonna put on a button one day and now I'm forever an ally. LGBTQIA, I'm the A. It's like, no, you're not. You're not a part of this. And that's the point. You are here to support us so that when we feel like it's a time that we need to speak out, we have people behind us who maybe the people we're talking to are more inclined to listen to you. And if you are able to say, no, 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 it's not about us, listen to them, that's something that's more powerful than you realize.
I need them to use my fucking pronouns. Honestly, all things considered. Like trans allies, queer allies, like everyone just needs to get on that train.
Being an ally to me means that you actively work to end oppression and discrimination against a group of people. So not just to LGBTQIA people, although of course to me that's very important that people are allies to me, but also to people of color, people with disabilities, etc.
I need them to be there for the fight, and I need them to be there, physically present, to voice themselves when our voices aren't being heard, to be supportive in the actions that we take, and sometimes to just be in the space. With that being said, sometimes there's spaces that allies cannot be in because it detracts from the conversation that's happening. And so knowing that being an ally also means that sometimes you can't be in all those spaces and fighting the good fight. The fight is also about letting those communities that are vulnerable, that are fighting, to have those spaces.
I need allies to understand that they have the whole world. We only have some spaces that are safe for everybody to be themselves.
If you don't feel comfortable doing anything else, you can just lend money or time to help like LGBT groups or even like homeless shelters, because let's face it, since a lot of people's families aren't supportive, they can end up with no place to go. So you've got a pretty good chance of helping someone who really needs it.
I believe faculty and staff should be more inclusive of people's pronouns. So whether it's like asking people their pronouns at the beginning, like the first day of class on syllabus day, or telling people, hey, you can come up to me if you have anything about your pronouns, stuff like that, and just being overall way more inclusive.
Just more understanding, definitely. Also them willing to be like, you know what, maybe I don't maybe I don't agree with your pronouns or like your identity, but I'm going to respect it. I'm going to just like kind of swallow my pride and just address you the way that you want to be addressed.
Put on your syllabus that this is a space where pronouns are going to be respected, where all identities are going to be respected. I think if I saw that pronoun inclusion was on a teacher's syllabus, then I would immediately feel way more safe in the classroom, right? I would know that this professor's thought about that, and that is not something I've typically seen. Inclusion of LGBTQ plus identities in curriculum, and as a major part, I mean, not to like take the place of the lesson obviously, but if you're speaking about queer subject matter, then to bring that up and to acknowledge that and how that is affecting whatever the lesson is on.
I would love to see a lot more professors kind of like engaging with queer students and like even talking about them in their classes, because I think outside of a few GWS classes, we don't really talk about like the community at all. So just more support and like more visible support.
And then of course, just sometimes in classroom debates or in small groups, sometimes professors will pick topics that are where the people in the class really don't have the correct information or are using things they see on the internet to argue about like the validity of people's identities, and that's really dangerous and hurtful.
Like English teachers like bring up LGBT issues and have like been like, okay, we're gonna divide the class and like half of you guys are gonna have to come up with like arguments against gay marriage and half of you guys are gonna come up with arguments for gay marriage, and I'm just like, this is awful. Like I'm like I already know that most of the people in this class like don't believe in gay marriage, and you're gonna like sit here and tell me to like think of reasons as to why their arguments might be legitimate. Like it just sort of like that sort of opening up that dialogue in ways where you're like, I'm gonna value like all of these like super bigoted opinions as equally, especially since like a lot of times teachers will say, well, I can't impose my opinion on people, then like don't open up dialogue that would like that is that easily like turned into a very unsafe space.
Being very open to like diversity training and cultural competency, and being like not so much forced but encouraged to do it, and then being like excited about doing it and helping to bring it back to the places they work or their classrooms.
From my peers, I really just want my identity to be respected and for people to be accepting of whatever pronouns I use, and just respectful of my gender identity and my sexuality, and just be open to hearing about the experiences that I have.
Get involved and understand why people are unhappy, and not just, stay inside your bubble.
If you're not in the community at all, it's really like tends to be tasteless. Like I have like close straight friends who are like trying to make a joke and it just sort of like falls flat and is just like really uncomfortable. And it's like, even if I knew that they meant well, it's like, don't do that.
I need my peers to just treat me like they treat everybody else, I guess. There's some expectations that people who are in a specific minority community want, like certain special privileges or things like that. I mean, maybe some do, but I don't. I just want to be treated like all of my other classmates, all of my other friends. So yeah, if you're gonna talk to Susie about her boyfriend, talk to me about my girlfriend exactly the same way.